Hi, this is Wing.
Hi, this is Kelly
From City Lux, and today we're going to be looking at the Leuchtturm notebooks, alright? So many of you are already familiar with the 80 GSM based notebooks for the past few years and are loyal users. And recently they just launched a new 120 GSM.
Yay!
So why did they create heavier paper? I think many of you have been asking out there, especially those who are into really heavy art journaling and creative journaling, not just a simple writing. You might have been using many different art materials, right? For example, Kelly, she also does quite a lot of journaling on her own.
Yeah, I use a lot of markers, brush markers. So normally I'll use the small one, like a pentel, and the big brush curry marker. Then also sometimes I will add on a bit of a watercolor on the paper as well.
Yeah, so some of you might be bringing it out for your really to-do journal, so you don't just do simple journaling, you actually bring out for urban sketching, and maybe you do some watercolor brushes out from it as well. And maybe some people might think, hey, the 80 GSM might not be thick enough, it might not be able to take the kind of torture I'm giving with the kind of art materials I'm working on. Then you'll be looking for oh, should I be using a watercolor paper for journaling, which is maybe not the most practical thing to do. And then maybe you've been experimenting what other journals do I look out for out there in the market, right? Because there's some out there with 150 GSM, even 200 GSM journals out there that's available. Leuchtturm have come out with their own answer. So these are papers that are milled in Germany itself before they are actually being made in Taiwan. So we're gonna torture test.
Yeah, so before we start, actually I was really happy that they came out with the 120 GSM because yes, I want to do some watercolor, I want to do some brush calligraphy, but mainly I want to write. It's more like I write, but I add some drawing and writing. Okay. So if I use a really thick paper, my journal will be super thick. And then for the writing, it's not so comfortable because watercolor papers are not very smooth. So for writing, it's not so ideal. So, well, 120 GSM is the answer for me because I can write comfortably, but yet I can add some drawings and calligraphy inside. Yeah, so let's try.
So I think before you look at it, what Kelly was talking about really with GSM, because if you're not familiar with what GSM means, basically it's the weight of the paper, right? Okay, so yeah. They try to keep the thickness similar. But the big difference will be, of course, the number of pages. In the 80 GSM version, it's 251 pages.
This is 203 pages.
Yeah, so you're short of nearly 50 pages. So you guys have to take note of that when you make the purchase.
But it's actually thicker.
And it's still thicker, yeah, because 80 GSM to 120 GSM, so that's a good 50% heavier weight, right? So you do expect the paper to be thicker as well. Alright, so let's get into it and start torturing the paper we have today.
Yes.
So when you open up the 80 GSM, you can see over here, it's written over here.
The 120 GSM, very obvious. Yeah, 120 GSM. Actually, the rest, when you look outside, is almost the same. So you cannot really tell.
And the basic stuff are the same, your content pages and your numbered pages as well.
Yeah, exactly same for the 120 GSM. So content and the numbers. It's just I can really feel the thickness actually.
So the newest printing, you can see the dots are slightly different.
It's slightly lighter and smaller, which is really good. Yeah. So don't ever get those dotted books with a very big dark dots. It's very distracting. Yeah.
So now we're gonna start trying out with the different
stress test. Yes. Yeah, let's do this.
So first thing I'm gonna try out with this one is a new color. I'm not sure whether it's in the market yet, maybe not. So we are seeing it here first.
So just show you first.
So this is the vanilla and that's the lavender over there. The lavender over there, we have actually switched it with a gel ink so that we can test all the different ones. The standard one comes with a ballpoint ink, alright?
So we will test on the 80 GSM first, and on the 120 GSM we will use the exactly same pen so you can see the difference.
So this one is gonna be a ballpoint.
Well, I think ballpoint, unless it's really big paper, you wouldn't have any problem. Okay, but let's just see.
So you just want to see, and I think we want to show as well how big is it a difference on the reverse side of the page, because some of us might be very concerned about ghosting on the other side, whether the pages are usable on both sides. Alright, so you can see even on EDGSM,
yeah, I don't see any
perfectly fine
ghosting.
and usable.
Okay, so this is 120 GSM, and let's see, it's like totally cannot see. I mean, if I really like try really hard, maybe a little bit, but yeah, it's like no ghosting at all. Okay. Let's try the gel version.
Okay.
So we actually have a lot of gel refills meant for geographical pen. So of course, it comes with a lot of different colors. You can actually purchase Monteverdi gel refill or geographical gel refill. So you can, if you already have a ballpoint and try out gel, you can actually switch the refill and try.
So this is with gel.
Oh, it's nice.
So I think even for gel ink, so for everyday use, if you're just using your ballpoint pen, gel pens, this
yeah,
perfectly
it's actually
good.
not visible. Okay, this is 120 GSM. Let's see the reverse, and yeah, it doesn't like smudge or bleed at all. Okay, again, yeah, no ghosting.
Okay, so let's move on next to what many of us will be using, fountain pens as well. Alright, so this one is a Twisby. It's a 1.1 stub nib, and it's been filled up with Monteverdi Mulberry ink, Mulberry Noir ink. So let's try this out.
1.1 stub nib, so it's very thick. The ink flow will be like a lot. So, okay, the 80 GSM, I can see that there's no bleeding. It writes very well. Yeah, actually the color is really nice too. Okay. Okay, let me try. Yeah, actually 80 GSM already looks good.
So wait, hang on, let me show first. It's still a little bit wet on top, so you can see. And then I'm gonna flip it on to the other side, and then I think there's one more package. So flip it to the other side, you can see. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, it's almost identical to the gel. It doesn't like have more ghosting. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now I wrote on the 120 GSM. Again, no bleeding. It writes really smoothly. Let's see.
No feathering either.
Yeah, no feathering. Oh, wow, really. So you don't see.
So if you compare directly, I think you can see quite clearly there is some difference.
Yeah. So 80 GSM, I mean, it's not bad, but you can see some ghosting at the back. But 120 GSM, like,
you have to look quite hard to see. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So should we move on to
maybe we try some brush pens. Pardon my handwriting, not so nice. Pentel Touch Brush Pen. Okay. So I write pretty quickly, so it's not such a heavy touch. Okay, so you can see on the reverse side as well. Okay, so this is lighter color than the Twisby fountain pen.
Okay, so I purposely wrote quite like heavily, and I actually did this. So because I'm curious like what happened at the back. Okay, let's see the reverse. Oh, I like it. Yeah, totally no ghosting. Yeah.
So
okay,
compare.
How about yours? Actually, it's not bad either.
Yeah. So it doesn't bleed through.
Yeah.
So it's doing fine, but you can see some light image.
But generally, Pentel is pretty forgiving in most paper. Okay, so let's do the Karin.
Okay.
Yeah, Karin is actually very wet brush marker. So if the paper can take Karin, oh, that's like a very good paper. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna use this one is a sapphire blue. the colors come out really beautiful. Okay. On the other side, you can see Karin is famous because it's super juicy. So a lot of artists like to use it to replace their watercolors that they bring out, and it's easy for them to do mixing of colors.
Okay, I'm a bit nervous because I don't know whether, because sometimes the paper is too thick, but if it's a fibrous, Karin will feather a lot. Okay? Okay, firstly, no feathering, okay, which is good. Okay, the color looks good. Okay, let's see the reverse. Oh yes, okay, no ghosting, no ghosting at all. How about the 80 GSM?
We can compare. I think it looks a bit deeper, right? The color.
Oh yeah. But the 80 GSM like has a very slight feathering.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you write with the Karin.
So if you look closely, maybe you can see this very slight feathering, and you can see because the ink seeps in quickly. You can see
so it's a bit darker. Yeah, the color is slightly darker.
Yeah. Okay. So on the reverse side, of course, this page kind of survived, but you can see, but on the 120 GSM, yeah, you hardly see any ghosting at all.
Yeah.
So I think the 120 GSM definitely does the job well.
Okay.
And next.
Oh, okay. So since we are doing the Karin, let's try the Pigment Deco brush, which is actually acrylic paint. So this is like a really thick ink.
Alright. Then this one is also sapphire blue.
Oh, same color but different ink.
Yeah, so let's try.
The pigment ink, you can write on any kind of material, including mirror, glass. Oh, I can see visible difference. It doesn't feather at all on this paper. Yeah, and it will be more opaque. Actually, I prefer this sapphire blue actually compared to the normal marker. I think because it doesn't feather and also doesn't like seep through the paper too much.
Okay, so even though both are sapphire blue, it comes out quite different because the pigments used are different as well. Then you can see on the reverse side. Okay. So you can see some ghosting, but it doesn't bleed through, so it's done pretty well.
Okay, how about 120 GSM? Again, I can see some color difference. I mean, I think it's most likely because of the absorption to the paper is different. Okay, and actually I already did quite thick strokes. Yeah. So the color is about the same, right? On the 80 and 120 GSM. Yeah. Let's see the reverse. Aha, yeah, 120 GSM, no ghosting at all. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where 120 GSM really shines.
Yeah. But frankly speaking, this amount of ghosting on 80 GSM, I will accept. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Yeah. So I think this for this much. So now the big question is whether it can take the watercolor.
This is a very simple starter kit for beginners, but it's pretty compact and useful. You can see it's less than half of the A5 size, and then we can just try out. You can take a blue again.
Yeah, blue again. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean it's difficult to write. You can just paint.
So yeah, let's just do what we actually would do with this.
Like I will actually do we go to the beach or a rainy day, I will actually paint.
So most of us will do multiple brushes. So let's so you can see the pages are starting to wrinkle already. Then let me look on the reverse side. Of course, I won't flip it fully over because it'll stay on the other side, but you can see it wrinkles quite a bit on the other side as well. But amazingly, it's not bleeding through. Yeah, so it's done pretty well.
Okay, I'm doing very heavy water content. I actually made it really wet. Okay, one layer, totally no inkling. The paper is like perfectly flat. Okay, let's go over another layer. Okay, it's still very wet. So far, so good. It looks good. Okay, I just go through a few more layers. Yeah, actually it doesn't budge at all. Wow, doing well. Already the starting part already went through 3 times.
Yeah, it's not wrinkling much.
Totally not. Yeah, I can even blend and yeah.
It's doing very well.
It's doing very well. Very happy. Yay. Okay. Let's see. It's not dried yet. Okay, but let's just see the reverse side. Okay. Reverse, I can see some wrinkling. Okay. Yeah. So I think no matter what, it's not like watercolor paper, so you cannot really totally avoid the wrinkle, but there is no ghosting. There's like the color doesn't come out at the back at all.
So it's perfectly good. So if you use 120 GSM, you can comfortably use the reverse side to continue writing. Because
I wouldn't really do the full watercolor paint on this kind of book. If I really want that, I would just use the proper watercolor paper. But if I'm just doing a bit of painting, add the watercolor into my journaling, I think this is like a really like, you know, good paper. Okay. So last one, let's do something really fun. I love this stamp. This is really cute. It's from Midori.
So these are oil-based, right?
Yep.
So these are meant for permanent?
Yes. And once it dry, you stamp and it dry, you can actually paint over it. So why not you try? Again, you go first. Yeah. Because it's an oil-based stamp, we received some feedback that it may bleed.
This is a self-inking stamp.
Then you just... Okay. That's it. Okay.
Much nicer than mine.
Yeah.
You can see over here, it's taking a bit of time to dry. Okay, so if you look closely, you can see from the reflection as well. And then you can see on the reverse side, it's much more obvious than the other inks because this is oil-based. It really sinks right through really quickly. Okay, but it doesn't really bleed.
Okay, let's see the back. Mine for sure. Okay, totally no ghosting. Cannot see at all from the back. Yeah. How about yours?
So
still quite heavy.
The lighter band is now on the right side. Yeah. So doesn't bleed through, but
I can see.
Yeah.
I think
I think those of you who use a lot of stamps as
120 GSM will be much better. Because
and like, if you don't use watercolor based dyes, you use like those inks with heavy pigments for especially the permanent ones. Yeah, 120 GSM obviously makes quite a big difference.
Oh, but this is so cute. So well, as long as you do it lightly, it's fine. And of course, even when I did very heavy stamping with a lot of ink, even then it doesn't like ghost at all. So well, so I guess the winner is 120 GSM. Yay! So I know what I will use actually for my daily journal next year.
Yeah, so I think if you are still wondering whether the 120 GSM is worth the extra premium and extra weight and less pages, then definitely it depends on how you use your journals, right?
Yeah, but if you are mainly a writer, you don't really paint so much. Actually, 80 GSM is perfectly fine because all the way up to Pentel, actually I don't really see much difference. So I think it's good enough. Only when you're adding more like watercolors or stamping or things like that, then maybe 120 GSM will be worthwhile for you.
So what's our verdict comparing the 80 GSM and the new 120 GSM? Alright, so I think as a user who mostly writes and even if I draw, I use mostly pencils, color pencils. I think 80 GSM is good enough for me. I use maybe fountain pens. I use brush pens maybe only on the monthly setup, and I'm perfectly comfortable with this amount of ghosting. To me, it doesn't bother me so much. I'm perfectly happy to write on the reverse page as well. So I think I'm happy to continue using this because I'm more cheapskate. So I want to have my 251 pages with less money because everything else is the same as the new 120 GSM over here, right?
Well, actually, after I tried out, I really love 120 GSM because the paper feels really nice. When you retouch, it's like it's thick, yeah. And also because now I'm doing more of painting and writing with the brush calligraphy. Well, I mean, we are all at home, right? So I have a lot of time. I took like online courses to learn calligraphy. So when I do on my regular Leuchtturm, I realized that sometimes like I mean it goes a bit too much. Then the reverse side, like I will just skip. So if you skip the reverse side, the less pages having on this book is actually, it doesn't really matter because you can use both sides. So for me, I will go for this because I like to do a lot more things other than writing. I mean, yes, I write most pages, maybe like a 70%, but the other like 30% I will leave it for my own drawing or writing. Yeah, so for me, this is good. But well, now there are only 4 colors available for 120 GSM. So these 4. So they don't have all the colors yet. But of course, these are beautiful colors. So I mean, you can just choose one of these colors and start. And of course, the good news is the new bullet journal is actually 120 GSM as well. So you can do the bullet journal, the original version, then also do the drawing and writing and all that. Yeah, because it's actually exactly the same paper.
So if you are into journaling, creative journaling, art journaling, and urban sketching
and stamping, yay!
I think 120 GSM is definitely something you can consider. Yes. The rest of us who are doing simple journaling, writing, note-taking, we can all stick to the 80 GSM. Yeah. So what do you prefer? Can you comment down below and let us know what's your preference? Right, remember to subscribe with the button up there and then like this if you enjoyed this video. And subscribe to us, alright? So as usual, live simply and write daily. See you again.